Okay, so the back of the poster's looking pretty good. I think it is. I think it's gotten a nice continuation from the front. The front is really, I'm enjoying the dimensionality of the front. I think one thing about the front should be observing supernova, but boy, I think that somewhere in here, subhead or something should be something about the Nobel Prize, so that the viewer looks at the front and knows this is about Nobel Prize laureates. So I don't know, maybe you could say Nobel Prize of the year, whatever that year was, 2011. So just underneath observing supernova, Nobel Prize 2011. I think that will really, really encapsulate the information that the viewer is going to be absorbing throughout this presentation. Okay, so let's take a look at the front. A good continuation from the front to the back. One thing I think is not working for you is the presentation of these years right here. They're kind of just jumbled up over here, and it's just not you're not getting the dimensionality out of the back of the poster that you got in the front. So you may want to reconsider those large years right there and their presentation. I'm just saying right now they're a little bunched up. They just don't have the dimensionality. So got a lot of weight towards the left side of the poster from those, and you countered it very nicely with this and with these. So imbalance is not an issue here, although it certainly could be with these large years, and just kind of way that they're just kind of, boy, I don't know. Try something with the years. I like this. I think this works. The dimensionality works here. We're just not getting that dimensionality on the back of the poster. I think this is your answer for trying to introduce that type of dimensionality into the back of the poster, would be working with the timeline. A couple of things that are happening here. I think you've got a good setup here. Everything is related, and it has to be. I mean, these guys are related with this paragraph, and by two reasons, by two things. Number one is proximity, plus the fact they're connected with this line right here. So the viewer looks and immediately knows that these guys are connected with this paragraph. And I think that just by sheer proximity, again, is that this paragraph is connected with this timeline. So everything here has a proper relationship. One of the things I'm thinking, you talked about the yellow, and you've got these kind of randomly placed yellow circles. I would say that one interesting thing to do is you talked about using the circles too much, and I don't necessarily agree that you're using the circles too much. I think they're necessary. I think, yeah, you do have too many here, but one idea for the circles would be to introduce this yellow into the back of the composition would be a little yellow circle next to the year. Okay, and I think that'll evenly disperse this color. And then another thing I think you could use the yellow for is this. I think right now a weak point of this composition is these images right here, because these guys are scientists. It's black and white images. They're older images. They're in black and white. The guys aren't smiling. There's very little personality being shown here. So they're kind of really dry images. One thing I think we can do is, if they were color images, I think it would be fantastic. If you could find color images of these guys, it would be great. But the black and white needs a little punch. So I would say a little yellow stroke around the circle that holds their images. And that's going to draw a nice connection, visual connection with the circles, the front and the back. And it's really going to help. Right now, as far as placement goes, these are too high in the composition. I would start this guy's eyes right there. Let me draw. So if you leave the placement the same, just take a guide, draw it right there, okay? Take his eyes, move them down so his eyes are in alignment with that timeline right there. Okay, so those would be my recommendations and observations. If anything isn't making sense, or if I can clarify anything, please feel free to let me know, and I'll be glad to do so. All right, good job. Thank you.